When we want the user to be able to see our output in JavaScript, so I've already shown you one example of that, and that's the alert. So there's a number of different ways that we can actually output content into the viewer's visible part of their web page. And this is the beginning part of how we create interactivity, because we are actually sending a customized bit of information directly to the user. So another way that we can act onto the web page using JavaScript is doing document write. And so document write, when we call into the document, this is essentially calling into the entire document area of the HTML, so as opposed to windows. So when we're doing the alert, this is just a default window function. So this is available again within that DOM, that we have these built-in abilities to run these built-in functions. So another one that's built in is document write. So the way that we access and call to it is we do document write, and it runs the same way as when we're actually doing that window alert. So whenever we hit this JavaScript, it's going to automatically write this out into the web page. So now when we refresh the page, what do you think we're going to see on the page? And I'm just going to add a quick line break there so we can distinguish between these two bits of HTML and JavaScript. So what do you think is going to be output here on the page? Do you think it's going to be another pop-up window when I'm doing document write? What do you think we're going to be doing here? And when I refresh it, we see that it's actually just writing out there. So it essentially, it looks like it's HTML code that we've just written out here, and we see that immediately show up within our browser. And this is, again, this is going to be visible directly to the user. So there are a number of different ways that we can access the DOM and provide that user interactivity. So another one is the console log. So I use this on a regular basis, and this is something that I use in my development in order to pass information. So this is actually going to be different from the user being able to see information. This is strictly more for when you're developing and to pass messages. So sometimes if you've got loops and you've got a bunch of variables and information, and you want to see where we are at a certain point when we're running the JavaScript code, so maybe something that's not exactly visible to the user, and I just want to be able to open up a console and see a particular message that's being passed forth. So all we do is do console log message, and again, when the JavaScript is writing through the JavaScript, it hits this console log, it actually writes it out into the console. And consoles are available by default. One of the reasons I do use Chrome is because they do have a really good web dev tools console. And to open this up, you can just click on the page and do an inspect. You can do that from up here as well in the drop down, and a number of different ways to open up the console. If you're using Firefox, the same thing. They have a really good console and Opera. So all of these have built-in consoles. And if you're not happy with the console, most of the browsers do have the ability to add add-ons which enhance the console or give you that same console functionality. So let's just show you what console does, and really it's not going to do anything different from the user point of view, but if you do have the console open, you can see that this message gets passed. And this is, again, our way to pass through information that's not going to be visible to the user, but allows us to better understand what we're doing with our code and directly message to ourselves via the console.